Even before I set foot on the patio, I could feel the burden of the day pressing down on my shoulders. It was my birthday. A word that felt like ash on my tongue. Light and laughter bounced carelessly around the courtyard. Under the string of sparkling lights, my wife, Simone, shone in the warm afternoon breeze. 3 of her girlfriends surrounded her. The lights became the focal point of every happy look they shared. Like gleaming pearls, their eyes lifted in unison, their smiles wide. I held a single piece of chocolate cake in my hand while they leaned in, whispering intimate jokes at my expense. It was her favorite recipe, one she made herself. The icing, delicate, sweet, and bitterly ironic. The world seemed to halt as it slid in my grasp, like a neon sign of my own foolish hope. She crushed the cake with her lips. It felt heavy, like stone, a symbol of all my failed efforts. She raised her glass, clinked it with her friends, then turned to me with a slow, knowing smirk. It hit me like a hammer to the chest. "You're a nobody," Simone said, her voice crisp as crystal. The words echoed in my head. I swallowed steel, tasted salt, sweetness, and sorrow. "You fix toilets. You think that makes you a man?" Her friends laughed. Their minds raced against every dream I'd ever had. I felt like I would collapse, the gushing sound of their joy pressing in on me. As I looked down at the cake, the dark crumbs fell into my work shirt. A shirt that bore the name of a man who could fix what was broken. But not this. Not this humiliation. I remained silent. I stood there until the second blow came. Slow, deliberate. No cake thrown, no table flipped. "Well, it's time," she said. "You were always only temporary," she added, her voice a soft trap. "You knew the truth." The air turned heavy, frigid, like a blade, like a moonless night had drained the sun from the sky, and beneath the laughter, something, inside me, began to burn. Not rage, not yet, but clarity, cold and sharp. I wrapped my hands around the plate, setting it down as if it were a holy relic I had never earned. I kept my composure, despite the tremble threatening to betray me, despite the damp in my palms. Each breath, measured, each second, stretched. Simone's friends inched closer, drawn by the scent of drama, their eyes glistening, but I gave them nothing, no reaction, only silence. And then, movement. Every step I took felt like walking through water, submerged in the embarrassment I had always tried to avoid. I entered our home. Her words echoed behind me, but they felt far away, like a wave crashing, just out of reach. I found my duffel bag in the bedroom, only the essentials, a wrench set, work boots worn by time, a blue shirt, the one she once said made me look gentle, each item heavy in its leather pouch. A relic of the man I thought I was. My phone buzzed. 29 missed calls, none from Simone. The realization stung, but it didn't break me. She wanted closure. So I stopped in the doorway, bag over my shoulder, and I looked around. The bookshelf filled with shared dreams, wedding photos frozen. In frames, I could almost hear our laughter, but it wasn't mine anymore. The doorknob was cold, hers now, and the sound I made, a mixture of anguish and freedom, formed a quiet symphony of loss and possibility. I stepped out, closed the door behind me with a click. The world beyond was vast, unexplored. A winding path lay ahead, filled with the weight of unknown consequences. The jasmine from the garden lingered in the air, sweet, sharp. I should have felt relief, but all I felt was hollow. I hoisted the bag higher and walked to the truck. Each step on the gravel, intentional. There was no begging, no return, just me, the man I had been, and the one I was becoming. I climbed into the driver's seat, placed my wrench bag beside me, and started the engine. I didn't look back. Not once. I drove for 20 minutes before the phone buzzed again. No message from Simone, but beside my name, the voicemail icon blinked. My daughter Sierra misses me. I closed my eyes, saw her tiny hands clasping mine, heard her giggle, bright as the sun. It was a comforting thought, but it didn't shake the new resolve forming in my chest. Merged onto the highway, the road ahead like a river, endless, unforgiving, no destination, only distance. The taillights behind me vanished in the rear view, a sharp, healing cut. On a night I never expected, I let the highway swallow me whole and pressed the pedal farther than I ever thought I would. The city lights faded. Gas stations flickered. I paid in cash. No questions. Receipts fell like confessions across the counter. Crumpled, forgotten. Later, I pulled into a cheap motel near Edison Creek. Vacancy, room 7. The neon sign buzzed in the humid night air. I grabbed my bag. The desk clerk handed me a key. Silent, uninterested. I climbed creaking stairs, entered a room that smelled of mildew and neglect. The wallpaper curled, the carpet stained. I sat on the edge of the bed, a man surrounded by broken things. The wrench set was still in my bag, waiting. I looked at the vacancy sign blinking outside the window. A promise, a whisper. You can still make a difference. Her words echoed. Nobody. Temporary. But the sting dulled. I let the phone ring. Let the silence answer. I fixed the leaking pipe in the bathroom. Not out of duty, but because I could. Because I still had the hands to do it. Still had the will. At 3:14 a.m., she'd be asleep. Victor would be next to her. I stared at the ceiling till dawn's pale light crept in. Downstairs, the lobby was quiet. Coffee bubbled in the corner. Back in the room, I sat at the desk, opened a notepad, and wrote, "Get proof against Victor Alonso. Confirm restaurant ownership. Contact Petro for financials. Hire legal. File. Fight. Win weekends with Sierra. Each word, a brick in the road ahead. Each sentence, a shield." I tucked the note in my shirt pocket, grabbed my wrench bag. As I left, I looked back. This wasn't a prison.